Per got a little bit worried in the beginning when I told him, it's like, okay, are we adding guitars and drums? Nope. So only church organ and orchestra? Nope. Okay, but you're singing on it? Nope.
Please open up a beer and enjoy the interview with one of the greatest guys around, the most entertaining Joakim from Sabaton.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you here.
Yeah,
well,
great.
First, congrats to your 20th anniversary.
Yes, I'm getting old.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, it's happening to us all, but it's so weird. I mean, 20 years, it's... I'm not even 40 yet, so it's over half my life in Sabaton. It's when you start to think of it in those terms, it becomes, man, I've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, in the beginning, you just planned one anniversary show, but it seems like a whole anniversary year. I mean, it's hard to beat, right? Like 2019 is the Sabaton year.
Yeah, in a way, but I think it is going to be hard to beat what we did at Wacken, I guess, with 2 stages and old and new band members and the choir and all the pyros and everything. Because I mean, there aren't that many festivals where you could do that.
Right,
and
right.
Us growing up wanting to play Wacken one day, us, also, well, having 2 stages next to each other, and Wacken's 30th anniversary, and that makes 50 together. Let's fucking do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we started brainstorming basically, a year before, what could be done. And we tried different ideas. And of course, we talked to all other band members and see what everyone thought. Because we wanted everyone who was involved in it to be, that's something they could be proud of.
Right.
No matter if they're in the band now or used to be in the band. So, but it was pretty easy, actually. Everybody was pretty happy, and nobody had an attitude problem. So, especially between the 2 drummers, because that's always a tricky thing, how do we play this song in the original way, or how the new drummer would play it, or stuff like that. They worked that out, Hannes and Daniel, in I think 30 minutes of talking, and then they were done.
Not lots of preparation, I can imagine.
Yes, many days of rehearsals and going through everything. I mean, only the technical issues, since me and Per were switching stages, making sure that we still had our in-ear monitors and our microphones or instruments were still working while moving between the stages. I mean, it's not an impossible feat to do, but it's extra things to take care of. So I think with the whole production, with the choir, all the crew needed, and all the band members, we were somewhere between 75 and 80 people to make it happen.
Wow, pretty big.
That's a lot of things that has to click.
And you couldn't see each other on the other stage, or did you have a monitor or anything like that?
Nope. I mean, which is, for me, it's fine. I'm playing according to the drummer anyway. So, but for the drummers,
Yeah.
because in rehearsals they were looking at each other.
Right.
All of a sudden now they have to remember and synchronize. Okay, where's the syncopation? Where did he? Oh yeah. Because I mean, we're talking about people who are doing stuff on a routine after a certain amount. I mean, Hannes has played Prima Victoria hundreds and hundreds of times. So has Daniel Mullback. And now they
both
have,
in their own way.
In their own way, yes. So now they have to remember, okay, which one on this song, which one did we decide to do here, But no, it was lots of fun, actually. And I gotta say, though, I was super nervous before the show. I was actually
I can imagine.
almost shitting my pants, But halfway through the show, when we realized, okay, the other stage is running, everything is working, it's starting to feel, the nervousness started to release, and it became, yes, the fun ride, if you will.
Okay, but I mean, usually band members, when they leave, it's all kind of band blood, and it's not that easy and not that cool. But with you, it's a great exception that you get along still pretty well, obviously.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not gonna say there was tension when we went separate ways, of course. But I think we were lucky. We realized that we wanted different things in life and musically. I mean, career-wise, not music style-wise, because everybody was proud of what we did like that. But we realized it before it was too late, so we started hating each other. Yeah, over the years, we've run into each other a few times, but not enough, I think, because they should play more, so we get time, because everybody's busy with their own thing. So the only chance you have to meet other musicians, it seems, is on other festivals.
Right. I mean, this whole thing was outstanding, so would there be any DVD of that or Blu-ray later on?
I don't know. We haven't decided. I mean, I don't even know if it makes sense. It's still available for streaming, And obviously, while it's available for streaming, we couldn't release it, you know.
Right.
So if that's the case, it had to be in 2 or 3 years where the streaming contract runs out, and I don't know then, is it still gonna be, you know, interesting for people when it's been out there already for that amount of time? So I guess we'll have to wait and see for that.
But it will be kind of unique for a while, right?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's such a different show, so it's always gonna be, you know, a nice memory for us. So maybe we'll do a private DVD version so we can watch it ourselves and show our grandchildren or whatever someday, you know.
But Wacken wasn't the only spectacular, outstanding festival show, because at the Hellfest you had something very special as well. So you played your regular show. Yeah,
that's the opposite. That's when things doesn't go as planned.
But great as well.
Yeah, but that's I said it on stage. But man, I am so proud to be in this band with such musicians who can pull that off. I mean, to be able to. I mean, I was running there giving them lyric sheets, so they had to look at the monitor where I put the lyrics. But for Chris and Tommy to manage the whole show, except the first 3 songs.
I mean, you gotta tell the people who doesn't see the show that you got voice problems.
Yeah, we played Notfest, I think it was on the Wednesday or Thursday before Hellfest. Notfest became Hellfest. And we played there, and the next day we were supposed to do a bit of media and then move over to Grasspop.
Right.
However, something happened and Manowar canceled the show. I don't know the details, so I'm not gonna go there. I love Manowar and I love Hellfest, so I'm not even gonna get close to that discussion. But we were asked to replace them, and we thought, hell yeah. I had a little bit of vocal trouble, you know, the day before, but no problem. I never had to cancel it over 20 years. I would lose my speaking voice, but I could still sing. So I did what I usually do. I stayed silent for the whole day, and you know, 2 hours before I started talking and then warming up. And then I started singing, and it's like, yeah, it's coming back now, as usual. And then, pretty much 20 minutes before the show, I got nothing.
Wow, I mean, that's the worst thing you can imagine, right?
Yeah. And people already had one cancelled show by Manowar.
Right.
Should Sabaton 20 minutes in advance go out and cancel? Fuck no, you know, we can't do that. So I just told Tommy and Chris, come on here, guys. I'm really sorry, but you gotta mark T. I'll do the 3 first songs, and I'll barely make that. You will have to mark out which songs you're gonna sing. And they're like, we can't sing them. We don't know the lyrics. It's like, sorry, I'm gonna have to print them for you. So I was actually printing while they started the pre-intro. Still, you know, because I had to go into the lyric sheets and remove. You know, you want them big.
Right.
So I had to take away everything. You don't want the chorus 3 times on the same sheet. So I had to kind of format them for an A4 paper and maximize so they could read it easily. So that's what I'm doing as the intro is running. And then I think we're running on stage and pretty much start the show, and halfway through Ghost Division, I'm thinking, maybe I can do this, And then halfway in the second song, which I think was Winged Hussars, I realized, no way I can do this. So, we let Tommy and Chris sing. I joined the Midsummer celebration. We had a table with a bunch of fans, you know, having a Swedish midsummer meal, so I joined them sometimes. I would come in and sing 1 octave lower on the choirs, you know, when we had a chorus or something. Through the gates of hell, you know, we just try as best as I could. And but then it got boring, so towards the end I got out more and more and made people clap and stuff like that. So, yeah. It was a different and unique show, but as I said, super proud to be in a band with such, you know, well-rounded musicians that they can go in and fill a lead role.
Yeah, I mean, Tommy's like a multi-instrumentalist, right? He's a drummer as well, and singer and guitarist, and Chris can sing well as too. Oh
yes, absolutely. I mean, Tommy's probably the most well-rounded musician in the band, singing as he has experience with all of them. I myself couldn't do drums, so.
But keyboards.
Keyboards, yes, for sure, and guitars as well. But the thing is, Tommy's a better singer, better keyboarder, and better guitar player than me, and a better drummer. So I'm fucked anyway.
So, did you ever practice that before, or was it like totally spontaneous? Did they ever sing the songs?
No, I think Tommy has sung Primo Victoria. He did a cover of that with his previous band, Rainseed, you know. But no, that was never practiced at all. They just had to. Here are the lyrics. Let's go.
But the crowd totally went crazy. You know, everybody was seeing what was going on and totally appreciate that you didn't cancel and put on the best you can, right?
Yeah, but that's I think what we have to do. Especially since it happened so late. You can't cancel 20 minutes in advance.
Right. I mean, still, it was a very unique experience that people get, and they won't get that again.
Yeah.
It's as unique as Wacken.
It was.
In a different way.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a lot of hardcore Sabaton fans were really appreciative of it because they said, well, we saw a Sabaton show like we've never seen before.
Yeah.
And especially for those who were there the day before, they saw the Notfest show, which was, okay, cool, Sabaton show. And then the next day think, okay, we're going to get more Sabaton, but a little bit longer today. But no, they got something very different.
So just in case, do you carry lyric sheets from now on?
No, we don't. But as you're saying it, maybe we should at least prepare some PDF files in so we can just print, you know, because that was a stressful 20 minutes hearing the intro start and, you know, sitting in the backstage. And it's a, you know, pretty long jog. And I'm like, yeah, I have to print these 2 more sheets before we're ready, you know.
Yeah. I mean, you are still the main songwriter, but this time you got some help from Chris and Tommy, correct?
Yes. It's amazing fun, actually, because writing songs up until Carolus Rex, I was the only songwriter, you know. And then in Carolus Rex, our old friend Kenny, who I've been writing songs with before, or later as well. I did 2 songs with him, and I think the first one actually we had anyone from the band except me writing songs for Sabaton was with the Heroes album. I did Soldier of 3 Armies with Tubbe, who was in the band then, and the extra material, or a bonus track, Man of War, tribute to Man of War song, was written with Hannes. And on the Last Stand, Shiriyama with Tubbe, and the title track Last Stand with Chris. But now on this one though, I actually did 3 with Chris and 1 with Tommy. Mm-hmm. So it's really nice, and 1 with Tubbe as well. Even though he's not in the band anymore, we did Fields Overdone together because it's so much more fun to write with. I mean, I don't believe in a whole band, all 5 standing at the same time trying to write a song. It's only a mess, you know.
Right.
But it's really good to write with someone else because it forces you to think in other ways that you normally would yourself. It's less boring, and also what I've learned over the years, especially now with such good musicians in the band, is to don't micro plan every detail in the song. Mm-hmm. Let that be worked out by the musicians in the studio when we actually get there.
In Flanders Fields, it's kind of outstanding track. It's like a poem and it's very reduced and simple. Did you talk about that a lot, how to do that?
Yeah, we started out with, actually Per called me one night and asked me, or maybe texted me, I can't remember, do you know the poem In Flanders Fields? And I got almost angry with him because, of course I know that, you know, what do you think of me? He said, maybe we should do a version of In Flanders Fields. And there are, you know, a lot of people have put that poem to music before, but we couldn't hear anyone we liked. So I just said, I'll write a new one. And I basically went all in and recorded a huge orchestral thing with everything in it. But, you know, it's like I guess a Lutheran hymn in that style.
Yeah.
And nobody knew actually, except me, until we came to the studio, that I've taken everything away except the voices. Because the more I removed, which is highly unusual for Sabaton, you know, we are a more is more band, not less is more. But in that case, especially with the End of the War to End All Wars, the track coming before, towards the end is so massive. Where do you go from there, you know? So we thought, let's take it the other way. And Per got a little bit worried in the beginning when I told him. It's like, okay, are we adding guitars and drums? Nope. So only church organ and orchestra? Nope. Okay, but you're singing on it? Nope. But it's the choir we had for years. It's, for example, our old drummers, Daniel Mulbach's mother and aunt, Per's social sciences teacher, my old swimming coach. You know.
That's all in family almost.
Yeah. But they sounded so good that we was like, yeah. And then we had the male choir, the band Eternal of Sweden. We just decided that no, we're not even gonna get in it. You know?
Yeah.
So it's a Sabaton song, not featuring Sabaton, based on a poem that Sabaton didn't write.
It almost feels like an outro, or could be an intro as well.
Yeah, but it's actually meant to, you know,
Close the record.
yeah, close the record in a nice way, so you can kind of process what you heard in a way.
Yeah. I got the impression you're busy enough, but obviously you're not, because now you started your own history channel on YouTube.
Yes.
So who got that idea?
Well, we had that idea for many, many years, me and Pat. I think we talked about this probably 10, 15 years ago. Oh, would it be so cool if every song would have a documentary? Obviously, back in those days, YouTube was not a serious media platform as it is
Cat
today.
movies?
Cat movies, yeah. Cats, and I think he started it because he wanted to see Janet Jackson's nipple, so he could rewatch it again, you know, from the
Nipplegate.
Super Bowl thing. So hopefully we'll be able to keep it running. Depends on if we can get enough views on YouTube, support through Patreon and stuff like that.
Looking good so far.
Yeah, I'm hoping it'll. If we can break even, I mean, our dream is not to have that as a source of income. Our dream is for that to be able to sustain itself, that we could make at least one documentary about every Sabaton song.
Right.
So we have a lot to do, as you said.
I mean, on this channel, people go pretty deep.
Yeah.
So do you have like any history academics to talk to, or how do you get all the information?
Let's be honest here. We are very passionate about history, but we are no experts by any means. So every episode we watch, we learn so much ourselves, you know.
Mm-hmm.
There's only so much history we can learn, but there are actually 3 people involved in the historical research. For depending on, I mean, not 3 for every episode, but depending on which time and era we're talking about, because nobody's a historian of world history everywhere. But we are actually only part of the talking of the planning of the episode, what we're gonna dig into. We do the intro and the talk of the outro. The history part in between, of course we look at it and have comments about it, but that's not our thing. They are so much better than us.
Right.
So, and then there's the editing and the maps. So I think it's about between 8 and 10 involved, people involved in every Sabaton history episode.
I mean, so far you produce the history background to your songs after you wrote the song.
Yep.
In the future, you can get all the research before you write the song. Might it be more complex then?
Well, yes and no. I mean, I found out that if you do too much research, it becomes boring as well. I can do one example is the song Stalingrad from Prima Victoria. I read the huge book by Anthony Beevor, great book. It's called Stalingrad, 500-600 pages. I saw all the movies, all the documentaries, and at a certain point when I wanted to tell the story, there was so much facts. Where do I start from? And all of those cool stories I heard, and I thought, wow, that's amazing. That was so many months ago that I wasn't so passionate about them anymore. So I ended up going online, and this is, you know, back in 2004, I think, so it wasn't that much on the internet back then. But I found a translation of a Russian soldier's diary, and I used that as a basis for the lyrics. So we have
to add the personal perspective of that.
Yeah, and get inspired ourselves or feel passionate about it again. So what we do these days is, of course, it's not like we start reading a history book when we're making an album. We're really into history. So me and Pat will always bounce ideas whenever I'm watched a documentary in the tour bus. We look at the info, we talk about it, and then we put it kind of in a idea database we have. And this goes for the stuff that our fans send us as well. When the people report, you know, you should write about this. Anything that looks interesting is saved in that data bank. And once we are looking at a theme for an album, for this one, for example, okay, if we start on the 11th of November, we can start recording 100 years after. Let's go there. At that point, we dig up everything we have ever made notes of about the First World War. And I think we were talking about 80 to 100 ideas. And see then which ones do we feel passionate about, and then also which ones could we do musically and tell that story, correctly. And sometimes even our favorite stories doesn't make it because we didn't have the right music for it. So it's really hard to predict in advance that this one will be on the album. We don't really know that until it's a little bit later. And so what me and Per do is when we have the music written, we agree that in X amount of time, let's sit down and work on the lyrics there. And that's when we dig in to the research.
Okay.
So we are still passionate about that story when we're sitting down and wanting to write it. And then we're fighting for our ideas. Like, no, this is better. No, we should cover it from this angle,
You should do some making of that fight. That would be funny.
No, it's not funny. I mean, it's not...
For outstanding people, it might be funny.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So when you got a day off, do you tend to watch the battlefield ground itself to go to different locations which are around?
Well, it depends on where we are, really. If there is, let's say, if we're close to a very old historical town, I'm going to head into town.
Yeah.
If we are in the Canadian Rocky Mountains, I'm going to do a mountain hike. If we are in the middle of a very annoying city, that's...
Stay backstage.
Yeah, I will stay backstage and play games. Or
check the microbrewery.
That could happen as well.
Not all people know that you didn't start with that history concept in the beginning. So just tell me how that whole thing gets started.
Well, actually, it's for us in the beginning, writing lyrics was a necessary evil. It's not like we hated it, but it wasn't the main thing, our lyrics. It was just something we had to do so we could record or go on stage. But it was all right, I guess. But when we had the music for the song that became Primo Victoria, it was me and Per sitting down, and I remember this pretty clearly. And what do we write about was the first thing that comes up, of course. And then we couldn't decide, what is it? But then we realized, well, this is not a sex, drugs, and rock and roll song, because it has a huge epic sound to it. So we need a huge epic topic. So let's try D-Day. And once we started writing... we didn't have to do that much research knowing that it's 6th of June 1944. It's been covered in so many movies and books already. But all of a sudden it became way more interesting for us to write the lyrics. And it became more engaging for me to sing them because they meant something for me on an emotional level. So we decided, hey, maybe we should do the whole album about military history. And that was the plan. I mean, there was no master plan with the stage clothes and building a whole career out of, military history metal or whatever you want to call it. But it was
tank metal, as Chris said.
Okay, tank metal. Yeah, why not? So we just rolled with it, and then was time to make another album, and we liked it, so let's do it again. And
then your interest grows and grows into it.
Exactly. My interest was, I was interested in military history. That's how the name Sabaton comes from in the beginning. But my interest is way bigger these days. And the one thing feeds the other. And it's a kind of a passion of mine, military history.
And who's the biggest history nerd in the band?
I think that would be me, actually.
Okay.
Followed by a close second by Per,
Okay.
He could probably say the same thing, that he's the biggest history nerd, closely followed by me. But that's a whole different conversation.
Fair enough.